welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Briain. Joining me this week are Rhys James, Maisie Adam and Robin Morgan, Angela Barnes, Hugh and Ahir Shah. We start tonight with a special prize for who in the Zoom crowd looks most like Nicholas Parsons. Well, only one winner. One winner tonight. Thank you for making a special effort. We start tonight with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topic and image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So what's going on here?
See, he has to wear a high-vis jacket so women can see him coming.
I feel already too many women have seen him coming.
I've got to be honest, this is not how I pictured Sadiq Khan's dad.
This is just a man so posh that he sticks his pinky out when holding a steering wheel.
That poor woman. Usually you get on a bus to avoid running into a weirdo on the way home.
I imagine what he's actually doing is going... Brum, brum.
He's actually on the number 3, or Carrie, as she's known. His wife number 3, what?
He's going, when I said I wanted to touch a hooter...
I think we're being a bit mean. Like, he looks genuinely scared. Like, he's going, can you give me a hand? I'm not good at pulling out. I'm just not good.
Sorry, I just got that.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have the correct answer?
I believe, Dara,
Yes.
that is a picture of Boris Johnson.
Absolutely wrong. Yes, of course. This is a recent picture of Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who this week was optimistic that the country is on course to lift all COVID-19 restrictions by June the 21st. Where, by the way, which parts of the UK shouldn't be celebrating too soon?
So all the places have got the Indian variant.
Yes.
Yes, which, after my appearance this evening, is this studio, unfortunately.
But the way they have done it is like they've done most of their COVID policy, which is, rather than do a proper announcement, they've just sort of, like, whistled it into the wind.
Yeah.
And hoped that someone in Bolton just hears, stay in your house.
There is a variant in the country, but to find out where, you must answer me these questions.
My first is in COVID, but not in Corona.
I've heard that there's a new variant now. There's a Yorkshire variant.
Oh, yeah.
well,
That's
which has taken the heat
coincidentally
off.
what the booker of this show calls me.
Is it not technically called God's own variant?
I think the Yorkshire variant's just like all the others, except it'll talk to you at a bus stop.
I do think if there was ever going to be a variant that wasn't responsive to the vaccine, it would be the Yorkshire one, because it would take one look at that Oxford thing and go, oh, posh prick. Which, of course, literally, it is.
On the news, they must really struggle on the news reports, because presumably they just want to go, the Yorkshire variant, where everything is done proper.
Literally, like, obviously, I know COVID is bad, but when the Yorkshire variant came out, I was a little bit proud. I was like, yes, putting us on the map.
Is the Yorkshire variant particularly bad because it all runs down into the dip?
Oh!
Yes, so there's new variants, but no, but it could narrow down to. I mean, it could be that somebody will be able to go to patient 0 and go, that's yours, by the way. That's your variant. You made that.
Track it back.
Track it back, yeah.
And in Yorkshire...
They did that to the guy in Brighton right at the beginning, and do you remember? And it was all like, oh, Brighton super spreader, and I was like, thank God, he's got my nickname now.
During the year, I found out, just in terms of knowing this kind of stuff, knowing that you can end the world, I found out that I have an asteroid named after me. And I have the path of the asteroid and everything. I can find it. It's in the International Registry of Asteroids. Me, Cox got one as well. We both, somebody quietly, never told us. I just weirdly found it on a Google search.
There was a slightly odd bit of that story, because of the perspex, I misheard that. He said, I've got an asteroid named after me. My cock's got one too.
No. Yes, no, I do mean right, rather than my penis is so legendary that there's a celestial body named after it. I once had a joke that featured the words nom nom nom. It was about how do you tell which is astronomy, which is astrology, and it features the word nom nom nom. Brian Cox is delicious. That was a part of the joke, right? And it's how you remember that which astronomy is the proper one, right? And then somebody texted me after a show in Southend going, "Yeah, good show, but some people didn't get it." There was a woman I heard as she was walking out going, "I like that show. I particularly like the bit that when nom nom nom, cocks are delicious." They may well be. They may well be. I mean, I might not have been caught out in a lie there. I have no idea, but listen, you know. I'm happy to move on. Yeah.
So how about that variant, huh?
Yeah. What Las Vegas venue was turned into a temporary COVID vaccination facility this week?
Oh, this was a strip joint.
It was a strip joint, yes.
Presumably there, you're most likely to go to get vaccinated against the Brazilian variant.
I think it's the place you're most likely to see the Brazilian variant.
It's also very weird, isn't it? One of the reasons they're doing it is because there's very low vaccination uptake in Las Vegas.
In Nevada,
Because people in Las Vegas who spend their whole time playing blackjack think that taking the vaccine is too much of a gamble.
Are strip clubs still open? I can't imagine anything.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine anything less sexy than sanitising a pole.
I can't think of anything more necessary in a strip club. I mean, those surfaces have been demanding to be wiped for a decade now.
It's not over.
It's got to be pretty
Wait a minute, this is brass, this pole.
It doesn't. This whole thing doesn't scream hygiene, does it?
It doesn't.
It's
Nothing.
like booking a smear test in a TK Maxx.
To be fair, Astra and Zeneca do sound like stripper names.
Yeah. And on the main stage, Astra. On the second stage, Moderna.
How are you supposed to work out which ones are the real nurses?
I mean, Rhys, obviously, for you, it's a good thing that this doesn't happen in this country because on the one hand, you want the vaccine, but on the other, you hate seeing your mum at work.
My mum is one of the nation's finest doctors, you are correct.
Moving on, here's a small story you may have seen or not seen. Why is BBC journalist Martin Bashir come under fire this week?
We really are suckers for old news at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got Diana back. We're currently going through a plague. We're banging on about Scottish independence every other week. What are we doing next? A hosepipe ban and a new inquiry for Cat Bin Lady?
He showed bank statements, didn't he, to convince Diana to do an interview. But the brilliant thing about the bloke who did the bank statements is he's now demanded an apology from the BBC, and you think, well, why? Well, you could just write one yourself.
That's how old this story is. One of the pieces of evidence is a paper bank statement.
This is the thing, though. It was back in 1995, so I'd really love to see the forgery from 1995, because by today's standards, it would just be hilarious. It was probably just like a NatWest logo drawn in felt-tip pen.
Oh, my God, you're talking about 1995 as if it was the 16th century.
Still an element of, like, it was probably someone with one of those Letraset things, just putting them and then rubbing them onto the page.
He gave it to Earl Spencer and was like, if you smell it, it's gel pens.
In 95, Photoshop was a photo shop.
I didn't really get the whole bank statement thing. Like, is that how you gain access to Princess Diana? Like, show her a utility bill? That's how you get it.
Apparently, the documents he forged to get access to Michael Jackson was he just made a Lego driving licence that said he was 9. I've got one of those. Isn't it sort of insane for the head of the BBC to be apologising about all of this? He was 10 when this happened. Yeah. It's like when your girlfriend makes you apologise for something you did in her dream.
I mean, Bashir did this, but actually what was probably more damaging, because people said, oh, because of this, it led to... And you're going, yeah, and do you know what else he did? He went up to Charles and went, hey, I think Camilla fancies you. I'm just not saying anything. Look, I'll say nothing. What goes on Royal Tour stays on Royal Tour.
Not surprising, is it? We all know that the BBC deceive. I mean, since 2010, I have been a hologram.
At the end of that round, the points go to Robin, Maisie and Rhys. Now we play a round called Pfizer Chiefs. This game involves Angela and Robin, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Our first topic, please. The first subject is masculinity. Who wants to come in that? Robin.
It's a lovely picture of me. I come from Wales, which is a very masculine part of the world. I feel my dad is a very masculine man. He's a beautiful man, very blunt though. Before I did stand-up, I'd never been in a relationship before, and I said to my dad, "Dad, I'm thinking of doing stand-up." And he said, "Well, Robin, a lot of stand-ups they talk about having sex or their relationships. So what are you going to talk about?" Piss off, Dad. Talk about mum's affair. That's what I'll talk about. Hi, if you're both watching. Wales, beautiful part of the world, amazing place. You should come when there's not a pandemic on. It's my favourite thing about Wales is that we have free prescriptions on the NHS. Oh my God! So I've been on the pill for 4 years. It's just nice to regulate. People get very annoyed about the war on men. People have boycotted companies. Gillette got boycotted a few years ago because they had quite a woke advert where they called out toxic masculinity. I'm not going to boycott Gillette. It's not going to do them any harm if I do. I shave once every Eurovision. It's going to do them no harm at all. But I can't boycott Gillette. I'm not going to boycott Gillette. I can't use Wilkinson's sword. Wilkinson's sword? I can't use Wilkinson's sword because that's what my friend Barry Wilkinson used to call his penis. Just brings back so many memories, you know? Hi, Mum and Dad, if you're watching. I think men change their behaviour when they're around other men, though. Like, stag do is a perfect example. My stag do started in a Wetherspoons in Cardiff, and then it got worse. Right? Wetherspoons, they're always in such, like, old, grand, beautiful buildings. Like, you've kind of got to respect them. Like, Tim Martin, the guy who created it, like, imagine the balls of that man to go, like, I'm going to create a chain of pubs in old, beautiful buildings. Cool, they're going to be nice inside? No. You're going to serve food? Sort of. What time are you going to open? 6 a.m. Drink from 6 a.m. like an airport? Yes. Except no one's going anywhere. Thank you very much, yeah.
Come on. Well done. Very good. OK, that leaves us with Angela. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is children.
Yes, I don't have kids. My fiancé and I, we don't want kids. We're in our 40s now, so we sort of sold on that idea. You know, it's unlikely to happen anyway now. His sperm sort of gets to the egg and just forgets what it went in there for. Sometimes people can't get their head around you being a woman who doesn't want to have kids. It really blows their mind. And sometimes I've had people get angry with me, like on Twitter when I talk about being happy and child-free. They get really angry. And often it's the same people who are also angry about high levels of immigration in this country. Well, are we full up or not? Pick a team. Loads of my friends have kids, and I love my friends' kids. I do. I take them out, I spoil them, I treat them. I love that. There's one I hate, but the rest. Awkward, isn't it? It's awkward when you hate one of your friend's kids. I don't know if you've had that. I think my friend knows I hate her kid as well. Yeah, he's an only child. They live in a block of flats. For his birthday, I bought him a seesaw. It's different. Kids today, it's different. Like, a couple of years ago, right, I took my friend's kid out for the day. Now, look, some of you watching at home, you'll be the same age as me. You'll have grown up when I did in the 1970s, when our playgrounds were made of concrete, weren't they? Concrete and scaffold poles. There was none of this bouncy shit on the floor, was there? You fell off concrete onto concrete. That was it. In the 1970s, a kid's playground was completely indistinguishable from a building site, wasn't it? The only way you could tell the difference is that on a building site, they made you wear protective clothing. We were left to fend for ourselves. No one born after 1987 knows what it's like to have a scab that lasts for 6 years.
Thank you very much, Angela Barnes. Well done. Points there to Robin Morgan. Come back. Come back. Thank you. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Robin, which category would you like?
Entertainment, please.
OK, your topic is entertainment. The answer is 0. What is the question?
Is it how many BBC channels will there be next year?
Is it what is my current Uber rating, given that I spent the last year writing a thesis called Are Uber Drivers Ticklish?
On Monday, how many days without incident were there at Ryanair?
Is it during lockdown, how many K of my couch to 5K did I manage?
Is it what did Jacob Rees-Mogg score in his Speak Slang Like a Roadman exam?
How many people are going to tune into next year's COVID briefing reunion episode?
Is it how many dragons chose to invest in my idea, reggae shampoo?
Is it what are the chances of Martin Bashir getting a knighthood?
I have no idea, but on an unrelated note, Rhys, how many trophies has Harry Kane won with Spurs?
Oh, just because you might not have the context, I'm Harry Kane's dad. Is it how much authority did Jackie Weaver have?
Is it how many seats the Tories would lose if Boris went on telly and just killed Attenborough?
Is it how many people were on board when I tried to start referring to it as drinky poos instead of diarrhea?
Is it how many nipples do I need?
I like the idea that you think you have a choice. You're just looking down going, oh, I've over-ordered.
I could lose 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You have the correct answer.
Is how many points did we score in Eurovision?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, you Dennis. Yes, the answer I was looking for was how many points did the UK score at this year's Eurovision Song Contest? James Newman's song Embers scored 0 points. This is the 5th time that UK has come last and the 2nd time it's received no points. It's also the 1st time, however, any country has scored no points since the scoring system was changed in 2016.
I mean, nothing against him, but it was a bad song, right? I mean, you know, if COVID was as catchy as that song, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we?
I think by the end of it, I feel as though James Newman was the only man in Europe who wished that he'd been diverted to Minsk.
Yeah. It was entirely our fault because the song wasn't just called Embers, it was called Embers, open brackets, we've got more vaccines, close brackets.
I mean, we got less points than Germany, who had a massive middle finger dancing on stage.
Literally did.
That's how much people hate us.
This is the easiest game of rock, paper, scissors you'll ever play.
We don't even get into the thing, but yeah, I mean, honestly, getting 0-0, getting 0-0, you might as well have sent in Martin Bashir singing Candle in the Wind. Same number of points. Or more.
Trying to justify it by saying, you know, oh, it's all political, it's because of Brexit, and, you know, that's why... It's like, no, it's a bad song. I mean, Israel got 35 points.
Oh, look, Russia got more points than that when Russia weren't allowing gay athletes into the Olympics, and Eurovision is the gay Olympics, and Stephen then, they got more points than Britain did. Like, it's not just, can't just be political.
No. To be fair to the Russians, I did quite like their song, We Will Literally Cut Off Your Gas Supply.
In other news, who came back into the limelight to criticise Boris Johnson and the government this week?
Dominic Cummings.
Yes, it was Dominic Cummings returns now. We record this on Tuesday, so the evidence is going to be given our tomorrow or your yesterday. Which is the slogan of my new Dignitas-based healthcare system. Doritas, our tomorrows, your yesterday. But so we don't know exactly what he said, but what are the whispers that he's going to say in front of a parliamentary critic tomorrow?
The first one, the biggest one, is that he and Boris had a love child.
Yeah. The second was that he did a massive poo outside Westminster.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's so hypocritical because he's like the maid of honour that gets pissed at your wedding and then grabs the mic and goes, and she ate a kebab out of a bin, forgetting to mention that they went halves with you.
Watching Dominic versus Boris Johnson is sort of like one of those ancient riddles where it's like, one of these men can only lie, and the other can only lie.
I just didn't think he'd driven to Barnard Castle to sort out his hindsight.
Actually, where are they? Is he going to have to? Do you think he's going to keep up the bad eyesight lie, bumbling in like Mr. Blobby, knocking everything over?
He's saying that this could undermine our trust in politicians. I was like, so who was trusting politicians? Right? That's like saying that Hannibal Lecter has really undermined my faith in cannibals.
One of his main things is that he's saying that herd immunity was the government's goal, right? And then really shortly after that, Matt Hancock came out and said that it wasn't a goal. And it's like, VAR ruins everything.
Well, yeah, that was one of the real takeaways from Dominic Cummings' Twitter thread was that he said that herd immunity was the government's secret policy, and previously you simply had to infer that from the government's words and actions.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it. It wasn't a secret policy because Boris Johnson went on This Morning and basically talked about it. Like, if you have a secret policy, don't tell Phil and Holly. Just before Gina De Campo makes a prawn linguine. It's secret.
Also, it's not a policy anyway, is it, herd immunity? It's the absence of a policy.
Yes, it is.
It's like going, how are you going to solve hunger? Well, soon there won't be anyone to be hungry.
OK, at the end of that round, points go to Angela, Hugh and Aher. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first topic is unlikely things to hear on a political show.
Well, I have a question for you, Andrew Neil. Why do you look like Hagrid's ballsack?
As of last Thursday, the Prime Minister has a mandate, which is unusual because he normally only shags women.
Well, it's a British politics first, but you join us here on Channel 4 for a Party Leaders Naked Attraction special.
Next week, we will be following the by-election. God, I wish I was by.
Priti Patel has become Prime Minister after literally everyone else has been deported.
Well, I think we can all agree that the government has made that very clear.
Our next guest is a cabinet minister accepted by both colleagues and experts as the biggest wanker in politics.
On tonight's show, I'll be speaking to the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Ed Michaels. And the funny thing about that is, none of you know whether that's his name or I've just made it up.
It has been spreading faster than any of us can manage, but it refuses to wear a condom when you elected it Prime Minister.
Next, we have an exclusive interview with Carrie Simmons with our news correspondent, Martin Bashir.
And now to explain his new policy on dealing with religious heretics, it's Andy Burnham.
Time now for the leaders' debate, hosted by Paddy McGuinness. Remember, no likey, no voting.
Well, I think I can see more green peppers than red tomatoes, so it looks like we're bringing back hanging.
Will it go red or will it go blue? That's the question everyone's asking. I've tied an elastic band round my knob and it's time to find out.
So, can I just ask a general question of the whole panel? Is it just me, or has anyone else got the horn?
So, tonight, to discuss the relationship between church and the state, we have Archdeacon Michael Smith and, in the interest of balance, Satan.
Thank you very much for that question, Joe. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to answer through the medium of lying.
Transport Minister, will you just answer the question? I repeat, if Thomas the Tank Engine has a mouth, surely that means he also has an anus.
Matt Hancock, did you give a PPE contract to somebody who, and I quote, had kind eyes?
Next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
I'm afraid that just by watching this advert, you owe us a tenner. Ryanair.
Oh, that noise means someone's at my Ring doorbell. Oh, it's my brother. Well, that's weird. He knows I'm at work. Oh, it's OK. My wife's letting him in.
Hi, I'm Martin Bashir, and this is my masterclass.
British Gas. Fuck you.
KFC. It's finger-licking good. Know your own fingers, Darren.
Daddy or chips? Daddy or chips? Please gamble responsibly.
Each bar of our chocolate contains a glass and a half. So be careful, because that's a lot of glass.
Daddy or chips! Daddy or chips!
Got thrush. Done on.
Red Bull, a panic attack in a can!
Num, num, num. Cocks are nice.
It's nom nom nom. Cocks are delicious.
Ah, Bisto. For my money, the best lube.
BP.
Sick of limescale? Dingy plug holes getting you down? Well, then you should get some perspective, Susan. People are dying.
You're going to want a third wave wearing our lovely leather gloves.
Want someone to shout at you in your own living room while you ruin the carpet by sweating on it? You got this, Peloton!
Hi, I'm Lenny Henry, and I've wanked in every Premier Inn.
The army. We're always looking for new recruits. Try not to think about why.
Eggs.
At the end of that round, the boys got to Robin, Maisie and Rhys. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Rhys James, Maisie Adam and Robin Morgan. Commiserations to Angela Barnes, Hugh and Ahersha. Thanks for watching. I'm Darrell Breen. Good night.
10 o'clock tomorrow, a musical buffet as Imelda May and Sigrid join later with Jules Holland here on BBC Two. And over on iPlayer, make Shrill your new comedy, not comedy, obsession. Press red now to watch all 3 series.